Hey friends out there in YouTube land, Robert Ham here once again, and today we're actually going to be talking about Lightroom and DNP DS80 printers and how to do a portrait session. I want to remind you, I've got a Win My Camera going on. Don't forget to head on over to my YouTube channel. Subscribe to find out more about that. That's pretty exciting. The drawing's going on November 20th at 6 p.m. live on YouTube. That's Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Guys, it's important to kind of share some of this stuff with you, because when you're trying to become a photographer and you're thinking about accounts and like how you can grow your business, one of the first things that people often think are school portraits. But there's an issue with school portraits, and it's like, how do you do school portraits? You know, like what kind of space is available? And glossing over all of that, you need a couple of things. One, you need, number one, the space and the equipment. For me to do school portraits, I use the Westcott X-Drop backdrop kit. I have several different, I think 10 or 12 different backdrops that I use. That way, in the course of a year, I have several different backdrops that fit exactly what I need. In the course of over 3 or 4 years, I can use the same one once every 3 years, and nobody will have any particular issue with that. I also have a couple of special backdrops on order that I get from places like Backdrops Express, where I want to, or whenever I want to add like a school logo to one of the schools, so I can add that to the backdrop or have something special. The lighting that I use is very important. I use Yongnuo YN560 series speed lights, and I use usually 3 of them, sometimes 4. I also use the YN560 transmitter in order to control all of them. I use the Westcott Perfect Pair kit, the Halo and the Apollo. I use those in order to provide rim and fill lighting with the umbrella and focus lighting with the Halo. I also use one of the speed lights with a Gary Fong light sphere, usually to light up the backdrop, right? And I set the backdrop far enough away. It's a 5x7 backdrop. I'm usually trying to do 3/4 length or standing, 3/4 length standing up, or usually sitting down on a stool or something. When I want to do standing portraiture, I have a Lima Studio backdrop kit. I also have a Westcott backdrop kit, but quite frankly, they're very similar. The Westcott's just made quite a bit nicer. So for your money, the Lima Studio is going to be great with a white background or a couple of muslin cloths. That will work very well for you also. So the gear that I use to take the pictures, of course, you guys know I shoot Fuji, and I usually use the 18 to 55 f2.8 to 4, right around f4 to 5.6, somewhere in there. I use a tripod in order to mount the camera in a relatively steady space. I'm normally about 8 feet in front of my subject, and then my subject's about 4 feet in front of the backdrop, and then my lights are about 3 feet off the side and doing different things to light up what I need. So that's the setup. Okay, great. So now you know that's the gear you need, and kind of where you need to position the gear. The next thing you have to do is get the gear, get all of this into your computer and do something with it. And so Lightroom's a great place to do that. In Lightroom, I set up custom templates that allow me to print out all kinds of different, proof sheets, right? And we'll take just this proof sheet right here. And what I do, I print using a DNP DS80, right? And the DNP DS80 allows me to print 8x10 or 8x12 if you buy that paper, with a dye sublimation print. When you upgrade the firmware, you can use a matte finish, so you don't have to have a completely glossy finish. I like the matte finish. The matte finish is really nice. It adds a nice look to the images. When I set this up, I set it up so that I print off 12 images per sheet, and I also have a watermark on the images. Now, you may not have been able to see it on the smaller one, but I put the watermark on all the images as well for the school year and things like that. I set all of that stuff up in Lightroom. When it comes time to order, the way I do my ordering is that I have all of these individual 3.5 by 2 little photos cut out, and I make just a nice little bulletin board out of foam board, and then I have it laminated for each class, so by grade and by class. and it's really nice. On there, it's got a full size usually of, a couple of kiddos, got a full size to show what a package looks like. And then all of the images are laminated up there so people can't rip it off. It also is done real nicely, and I'll put my copyright notice up there as well as additional order forms so that people can get one for each class. So here's what happens. Mom and Dad, when they walk in and out during the time that people are selling portraits, they can very easily see the image. There's nothing really stopping them from taking a picture of the image other than the copyright up there. Generally, I like to have this on the inside of the classroom where the teacher can monitor. Sometimes it doesn't work that way. However, out of 5 years of doing this, I haven't had any particular issue with finding my pictures on people's Facebooks. One of the things, in order to order, you have to, I need your Facebook address. So if I do need to check, if you want to order pictures from me, some people may say, I'd never give you my Facebook address. That's fine. If you want to order pictures from me, we do a couple things. Generally, you go and you like the Facebook page and you give me your Facebook email address, and we become friends. So if you did take a picture and snap it on Facebook, I'd see it. I've got lots of moms and dads. They don't mind this because if they purchase a package from me with their Facebook address, I can very easily share them their digital file if they purchase that as well. And then they're ready to share online. In fact, if you're going to share online, you have to have the digital file as well. And I've got no issues with that. The packages are all built up, but it makes it very simple. So when it's time to print, the teachers collect the order forms, right, with the child's name on it, and then that's it. I get the order forms, and I go ahead and locate the child in the Surface Pro, where I put all my work is on my laptop, my Surface Pro, and then I print the images out. So it's it's pretty seamless from start to finish. The reason that that's important is because you might be thinking you got to go buy like some darkroom booth in order to make these templates, or you got to go do something. And although that would be very helpful, the reality is, with just a little bit of understanding how you're working in Lightroom, you can create these templates which allow you to make really, really nice bulletin boards that people can easily purchase images from. It's a very low-tech way of going about it. I found that I get better sales when I actually have a physical image there for people to see rather than a digital image. Of course, I could put everything on my website and make it password protected, but then that would take more time and less sales. So this is pretty great for me. The next step up from doing this would be to actually have the prints ready. So to print everybody's package ahead of time and then not worry about the waste. The idea would be printing enough photos to make up for whichever parents didn't purchase. I would only suggest that if you're more than a 60 or 70% sell-through. Most schools, I do a 50 to 60% sell-through, and I just don't feel like having a couple of $100 extra of waste, especially since it's not that big of an issue. What it would alleviate is having to take payments after the fact and sales after the fact, and any questions about quality or anything, which don't happen. But sometimes, even though I'm using a DNP DS80 printer to print the prints, sometimes moms and dads think that the print is different than the actual image that I produce for them. Generally, that has to do with a crop. I'm shooting on a 3x2 sensor. This is a 3x2 aspect ratio, and 8x10 is not 3x2. So most of the time, anytime I've had an issue, it hasn't been with the actual print itself. It's been with not understanding crop ratios and things like that, which, believe it or not, as part of customer service, you're going to have to deal with that whenever you just have to recognize you got to educate your customers sometimes. So just help them through the process of understanding that this form factor, when an 8x10, will look slightly different. But you, as a photographer, as a pro, will make the decision in order to get them the best crop. However, if anybody ever wants to switch it out because they don't like it, I offer a guarantee, and I'll just print them up another set right there. It's not a big deal. The idea is to keep everyone happy. Guys, I hope that you have found this fun and enjoyable. I'm Robert Ham with RobertHamPhotography.com. You can catch me over on Facebook and YouTube at /Robert Ham Photography. You can even find me on Instagram and Twitter at RobHamPhoto. I hope you found this helpful, and as always, keep shooting, my friends.